Hello, everyone. Good afternoon and happy Wednesday. Welcome back to another fun hour of class here with Michael Stores and Faber-Castell USA. Today, we are going to be doing a fun brush lettering class. I did already print out the handout, the printable, but if you don't have it, it's okay because we might just start from the beginning. I always like to start my classes this way because it's kind of like, it's nice to have the handout, but I think it's important to also kind of like um get the feeling of from sketch to finish. It's not always easy, but it's always so fun because it's always the process that's so fun. Thank you for sharing where you guys are joining us from. I'm broadcasting live here from Texas, so hello. And Tina, you are right, we have an extra day tomorrow. It's leap year, so hello everybody. We have Lisa joining in from Columbus, Ohio. We have friends from New York. We have some friends from Missouri, Minnesota. Hello, everybody. Some friends from Arizona and Florida. Hello. Hello there. Thank you so much. Oh, Felix, you're so kind. All right. So, again, if you guys don't have it, it's okay. But if you did print it out, I will share with you some trick that I like to do. If you don't have a graphite transfer sheet, it's okay. This is just a plain graphite pencil that I have. You don't have to have a jumbo like this. I have mine that's big because I get arthritis, so I get cramps. So I really like that a thicker size of the jumbo. I like holding it. So what you can do is on the back of your printout like this, you can just do this, kind of like fill up all the space and the area where the printout is. I mean, you can see it pretty much just like that. And then you can trace this in your mixed media paper. Today, we are going to be working with the Goldfaber Aqua dual markers. It's a lot of words, it's a mouthful. So Goldfaber Aqua dual markers. So these markers are water-based dye inks. All right, so we're going to do some blending today. It's going to be really fun. If you are new to brush lettering, I highly suggest checking out some of our previous classes, Michael, especially kind of like, I think it was just last month, we did a brush lettering rewind. So we went back over again, the basic of brush lettering. What are the things that we may be doing that are hindering us from growth and the progress? So it's really a great class to check out. All right, so once that you've applied the graphite pencil on the back, you can just place it like this. If you want to use like a washi tape to just kind of hold it in place while you trace over it, this is really a really good technique to do. So, but since we're going to start this from the very beginning, the printout, there you go, Chanel shared it there so you guys can print it out. But today it's very easy. We have 1, 2, 3, 4 words. Or we can do I'm or I am. I'm feeling extra lucky because, St. Patrick's is just around the corner. However, I am really looking forward to spring. Even though my nose is telling me that it's not going to be good to me, my allergies are going to be bad. Okay, so the colors first. Let's talk about, I'm using a watercolor paper from Artist Loft. If you have a mixed media paper, yes, that works as well. Now, these are the markers that I have. These are the Goldfaber Aqua dual markers. Yes, they have a dual tip. So we have a brush tip on the other, like this. And then we have a fine tip on to the other end. So like that. Let's see. I'm just going to go like this so you guys can see. So we have that. Let me adjust my brightness so it's not so bright. Sometimes it's really hard to see it when it's like bright. Give me a small second here. There we go. Have this. This is very light. This is water blue. The reason why I have this out, I didn't even put this in the description, that I just want to share something with you guys, a trick or a tip when it comes to blending. But this is very important. If you have a very light gray, this is the cold gray. This is the color that I love using, just like that. Now, what's going to be much better is if you have a gray color or very, very light color of gray um, in your Pitt Artist pen. Do you have a Pitt Artist pen that is a very light gray? It's actually a much better idea. I tell you what, because the Pitt Artist pen is an India ink, and we've been through this before. The India ink is that when they're dry, they are waterproof. So when we do some blending, what happens is that we want to lay down a first color when we're blending, and then we start adding the different colors, and then we blend little by little. This technique that we're going to do today, although, however, it looks, you know, hard, it really isn't. What's hard about it is patience. Sometimes it's the hardest thing because it's like you have to do one slowly, slow progress at a time. I wish we can just snap our fingers and the colors are blended right, like so pretty like that, but it isn't. We just have to be patient. So the other colors that I have, I'm going to use the light gray as my base color, and then the other colors that I have are cadmium yellow lemon, so that's number 205, the pine green 267, and then I have Azure Blue 449. Again, if you don't have these colors, it's okay. You can use whichever color that you have in there, or what are your color palette that's your favorite, right? So with brush lettering, there are two things that are very important. Actually, there are a lot, but the two things that are two strokes that are very important to understand is your two major strokes that you have to practice would be your brush, I'm sorry, I'm trying to find my words, your downstroke and your upstroke. Let's try the green so you guys can see like well. So every time, the trick is every time you would write towards your body, this is your downstroke. It means you're going to apply some pressure, right? So pressure like this. Let's zoom in so you guys can see. And then when you're writing away from you, this is your upstroke, or when you will apply very light pressure. So basically, brush lettering is mimicking the look of the old calligraphy, like using the old nib. It's all about the pressure that you apply. When you see those beautiful thin and thick strokes, it's not the pen that is doing it, but it's actually you. So it's all about the pressure that you apply when you write your letters. Again, that video that we just, the class that we did last month is really, really good because we talked about all these basics. So for example, I'm going to write the letter L, okay? So again, when you're writing towards your body, apply some pressure, and you're going to use the body of your brush pen. Don't be afraid to press on it, apply a little bit pressure, because that's the only way that you're going to get a thicker stroke. And also notice how I'm using my marker. Every time I would do a downstroke or that pressure, I'm not using it upside down like this. I'm holding it relatively 45-degree angled like this. So letter L, again, when you're writing towards you, apply some pressure and use the body of the brush pen. And then away from you is when you're going to use the tip. I'm adjusting it and just using the tip of the brush pen and then applying very light pressure. Now I'm going to apply pressure again and use the body of that brush. And then every time you would do something horizontal, like the crossbars, or you would go do anything horizontal like this, you're going to apply also light pressure. So light, light, light again. So does that make sense? So letter A, light away from me, heavy towards me, just like that. And then crossbar, just light pressure and using the tip of that brush pen. Let's try it again with letter B. Towards my body, I'm using the brush, the body or the belly of the brush. And then this one is like light, use the tip, heavy again. Now this I'm going to do horizontal, so I'm going to do light pressure, heavy again, just like that. All right. So now let's start with a sketch. Every time you want to do a word or a quote, a sentence, if you want to write something that's has more than three words, I always suggest, even just a one word, I always suggest starting with a sketch because the pencil and the eraser is going to be your best friend. It really is. I'm not kidding. So, because you can always adjust, you can always erase, and it's just going to make life much, much easier like that. Oh, sorry, Sam. We don't have the just a sketch. We only have the color version. All right. So once you trace it, you're still going to have to start adding your thickness right there, unless you want to trace it where it's almost like creating an outline for your lines. But when we do the sketch here, we're going to have to manually add those thick strokes by applying pressure when we're going down. All right, so let's start. I'm feeling extra lucky. Let's claim that. Next month, please be good to us, March. Everything's going to be blessed, 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 blessed. We're going to be so lucky, so extra blessed that next month. All right, so I'm going to start with the word feeling because the I made it very small and I only kind of like, maybe we should make that big. I am kind of like claiming it, I am feeling extra lucky. So what I want to do, I'm going to go back to my notebook because I want to start with sharing with you some trick and tips when it comes to composition. So I kind of start with just writing the words. Let's say, I am lucky. Lord, I am feeling, sorry, I am feeling extra lucky. Notice how my handwriting, this is my handwriting, especially when I'm in a hurry. So when I hear my students say, I will never write beautiful like that. First of all, it's really important to understand that handwriting is very different than hand lettering. When you're handwriting, you're just, writing your letters. But when you're doing hand lettering, you're actually drawing your letters. It is the art of drawing your letters. So I don't want to hear that I don't have a beautiful hand lettering, I can't draw. But I didn't know how to do that either 11 years, 12 years ago. It's just a lot of dedication and practice and tells me a whole lot. That's why you're here watching this video and doing this class with me, is because you want to get better, right? Okay, so once I've written the words, I'm feeling extra lucky. This is the time when I kind of like, okay, what are the words here that I really want to highlight? Or what are the words that I really want to write big? Now, when it comes to brush lettering, my style is called bounce lettering. I really love that kind of like a bouncy feeling of it's not so uptight, it's not closed in. I just really love that the flow and the bounce of the letters. It's more like a free flowing type of brush lettering. I don't have it in one line. I don't have my letters. Look at my height of my letters. They're almost like very different. The two E's are the same. Most of the time, I will have one E smaller, so it's kind of like, I feel like it's more freeing instead of kind of like being trapped in one style or one technique. But if you are just beginning, you might want to start with more constrained, more kind of like traditional, because then you're really going to get a feel of just having all your strokes balanced and equal. But today we're going to just have fun and be free. So I'm feeling extra lucky. I think I want the word feeling, it's that feeling. I want to have that highlighted. So that is why in this example, I have the I'm just almost like very small on top like that. And then the word feeling and then extra lucky. We can make the word extra a bit smaller today and then have the word lucky also big at the bottom. So I think I like this. I like this composition. It's very simple. I think this is how we're going to do it. But I just want to share with you that this is what I do also. And sometimes what helps me as well is I kind of like draw, a sample of the paper like this, just a rectangle, just to give me a visual of my paper. And then I just practice here. Let's say lucky. I am. I did lucky again, guys. Lay, where is our brain today? Feeling. Let's see. I am feeling. So we kind of just get that layout in our brain, you know, so that visual, okay, this is how I'm going to do it. All right, the word I am on top. I am feeling, and then I'll make the extra in the middle like that. And then I think I'm going to use, nah, I'm going to stick with the small L, lucky here. So this way, just like that, it's already giving me a pretty good feel of how I want my letters to lay out in this paper. I know exactly where I'm going to put the I am, you know, the feeling, the next is the feeling. But for me to get a feel, a feel of the word feeling here, because of course it's much larger, I want to start with the one that I want to highlight, which is the word feeling. So I'm going to start with that. I know that I have I am on top. So it's all about visualizing also when it comes to art. You just want to visualize your project first and then play with your pencil like this. And then we can always erase and adjust. All right. So let's start. I'm going to start with the word feeling. Let's just sketch it. Now, also sketching, when we lay out the letters in here, it'll be much easier to do it later with the brush pen. So all we got to go focus on later would be our amount of pressure that we apply. Instead of going directly with a brush pen, sometimes you would write the letter F much bigger, then you will not have enough space in here, then it's a disaster. You're going to waste your watercolor paper. So it's always really important to start with a pencil, right? Just sketch. And remember, when you're sketching, go really light so that when you may need to make some adjustments later and erase, you won't have so much trouble erasing. Especially I'm using oh, okay, I'm just using a regular HB. So I have the word feeling in here, like that. Okay, we can add I am on top, just like that. All right, and then I think I wanna, let's start with an extra. Now, looking at this already, I feel like I want to adjust this letter G, but I'm gonna do that later. Let's just sketch the word extra, letter E, because I want to fit in the word extra in the middle of my kind of like the loop of the letter F and the loop of the letter G. So that's what I have in my head is I really want to put in, fit the word extra in the middle of that. And then letter A. So just go really light when you're sketching. Just go light. It's okay. Now this, instead of just putting a regular crossbar with your letter T, we want to do a swash. So it's almost like a wave, a mountain, or think of it as kind of like a one loop here, and then you go down, and then you go up, kind of like that. Now we can fix that later.
Hey, Lay.
Yes, ma'am.
I know you are writing very lightly, but we do have a couple people who are saying that they cannot see it.
Yeah, it's really going to be hard when it's like a sketch. So is this much better when we have it kind of like closer like that?
It looks better to me, but I will let our participants chime in.
That's better. Okay, good. Thanks, Sam. All right, perfect. So I'm feeling extra. Then I'll start with my word lucky. And then this one is going to be bigger than the word extra. So it's almost going to be as wide. So I'm going to stretch the word lucky, even though I have only 5 letters here. So, but we're going to stretch it out. L, U. I might have stretched it out too much, but we'll see. C, like that. This first. my letter Y, kind of like that. All right. So now just look at your letters. If you're happy, if there are some things that you want to adjust, I adjusted my crossbar for my letter T. So it's kind of like a mountain here going down, and then I went up like that, right? And then I'm going to adjust my letter E here, so it's not going to touch that crossbar. So there's like a space in between that. There we go. I'm trying to be as consistent with my loops as well. Like that. So with my letter K, I want to adjust this because see, notice how we have this extra swash with our letter T. I want to make sure that I really want to copy that with my letter K. So how are we going to do that? We're almost going to copy this one just like this. Notice if I did this and I just added a loop, it's almost like going to be for my letter K. So that's what I'm going to do. I have this extra space in here. So I'm going to go mountain, valley, and then high, just like that, right? So a little hump, go down, and then connect it to the letter K, just like that. I'm going to go clean out my sketch. This. And then I have an extra space here also for the letter F and the letter L. So I feel like I want to adjust this one and bring this up a little more. Just like that. And this is where it's really important to start with a pencil, because when you start looking at everything as a drawing and you're looking at spacing, you're looking at all your swashes, it's going to be much, much better than using the brush pen and then working on our composition right away. It's going to be a disaster. Trust me, I have done it many, many times. I have wasted so many paper because of that. I'm like, you know what? I'm just going to go in there and do it. Now, this one, I'm noticing that my letter G and my letter Y's, the way I looped it up, I feel like this one stretched out too much in here. So I'm going to adjust this. So it looks very similar to my letter Y. We don't want to have a carbon copy, but just very close. Like my loop of my letter L here. I think I'm just going to bring this up a little bit, my letter F, and then just make this little slightly wider like this, just like that. Yep, but I'm pretty happy with this one. All right, so if you guys are happy with your sketches, we can erase all of it now. Sounds so counterproductive, but we really have to lighten the sketch. Okay, so we don't want to erase it, but we want to lighten the sketch because we are going to start with this is a little going to be a little tricky because we're going to start with our brush pen. My favorite eraser when it comes to erasing and just lighting up my sketch is the kneadable eraser from Faber-Castell. It's almost like a little putty. It's like this. But how I like to do it is that you can also just like this, go over on top of your sketch. Or how I like to do it is kind of like roll it on top of my sketch, just like that. So I am erasing it, but I'm just making it lighter, right? So the sketch is still there. My guides are still there. But we're pulling up all those graphite, the extra graphite. So just like that. Just gonna erase that part. Lighting the extra, just like that. Because I know we're gonna do a lot of blending. I don't really mind some of the the sketch in there, the under sketch. This is the kneadable eraser. I'm gonna see if Chanel can find the links, but it's called kneadable eraser. And this is from Faber-Castell as well. I really love this eraser. Okay, and like what I said earlier, I am going to use my lightest gray. Now, if you have like a really light blue, a really light, depends on the color also of what you're gonna use, but I think the cold gray matches all the colors that I'm gonna be doing today. So I'll start with my very light gray. This is going to be our base. Um, and so remember the trick. This is also another mistake that I really notice with a lot of my students. I'm like, every time they would write, or I always remind them when every time they draw their letters, a common mistake that I'm seeing is that they are doing it like how you would normally write a script. It's actually don't. So we don't write it like this. No, we don't. What we need to do is we need to do one stroke at a time. So if the letter F, we start very slow with the letter F. Just like that. We breathe, we let that pen breathe, relax, do another stroke, the connecting one, just like this. And then we proceed with the next letter, just like that, and then so on and so forth. Okay, so remember, don't try to write this word feeling in one stroke. We're going to do one stroke at a time. So we're going to start with our letter F here. So say it with me. Breathe in, breathe out. Again, every time you would write towards you, this is your downstroke. So this is your thick strokes. You're going to apply some pressure. So heavy going down, light going up, heavy going down, light going up. All right. Trust me, when I was just first starting to practice hand brush lettering, it's almost like before I built my muscle memory, you know, my hands already is coordinated with my brain. But before I built that, I had to remind myself heavy going down, light going up, heavy going down, light going up. So just kind of like repeat that in your head over and over. And eventually you're going to build a muscle memory that you don't have to. Your hands already know that, hey, I'm going to go heavy going down, I'm going to go light going up. All right, so let's do this. Whew, are we ready? Okay, here we go. Heavy going down. And if you have to pause right here, it's okay. And then continue light, heavy going down. Notice how I'm using and really pressing on my brush pen to create that very thick stroke. All right. And then this stroke, our connecting stroke to our letter E, light. I am going to go light going up and then heavier going down, light going up, just like that. This, heavy going down, and then light going up. Light, heavy. I'm going to pause right here and then bring it all up. Heavy. Noticing now, I am noticing it. I didn't see this earlier. My distance between my letter I and my letter N is too close. So, but you know what? If for the future, we're going to think of those things. Start with that oval shape, and then we finish our loop, just like that. Right? Don't forget the dot to dot your letter I. I always do. I think I'm going to clean out this sketch right there. Here, I'm going to do with my letter E. Now for the letter X, you want to start with a downstroke, which is going to be your thick. So we want to go thick like this. And then this one is going to be light, the next part. So this is your thinner stroke for your letter X, like that, right? T, light. So if there are some things that you are noticing from your basic sketch that you feel like, oh, you know what, I can adjust this one. Notice how my letter R, I kind of stretched it over there to the right a little bit because the distance between my letter T and my letter R are too close as well. So kind of like you can adjust still, as you go. And letter A, and then all that. Okay, I'm going to go try to do this a little faster because our time is so limited. All right. And heavy going down, light going up, heavy again, then light. And this is where if you do your sketch first, then you don't have to worry about your spacing. You don't have to worry about your composition. You can just follow along your sketch and then worry about your pressure that you apply with your letters. Just like that. It's okay, Kiko. We'll wait for you. So I'm going to finish my I also, and then A and M. Just like that. All right. While you guys are finishing up, I'm going to go clean up the rest of my sketch, just the extra ones. Just make sure that the marker is already dry so you don't have to smudge anything. So just go light with your eraser and let the eraser pick up those graphite for you so you don't have to work extra hard. Just go gentle, just like that. Then just try to clean out as much as you can. All right. Thank you, Dee. I love brush lettering too. Okay, so now remember what I said about patience. This is where patience is going to come in. Now, I do have some water brush here, and I also have a very small round brush here because we have very tiny, like look at those very thin strokes in there. Sometimes if you don't feel comfortable with a water brush, the only thing about the water brush is that imagine this as kind of like your faucet is leaking a little bit. So it's probably not a good visual, but it's kind of like there's a system where the water keeps flowing. It flows naturally. Also depends on the water brush that you're using. Some brands really don't have a good water flow. Sometimes you'll end up with a pool of water. And that's why if you're just a beginner and you're not comfortable with a water brush yet, I really suggest just using a regular round brush like this because you can then gauge how much water you put in your brush so that you don't end up with a lot of water on your paper. Then it's kind of like a mess. Now, I also really always suggest to have like an extra paper towel on the side or just an extra sheet of paper that you can dab your brush, kind of like take the excess water from it, So if you feel like, oh, that's too much water, then just kind of like dab it onto the side like this and then proceed with your blending. All right, so this time we're going to do it's going to take a while, but we're going to try and finish up our letters. So I'm just going to clean up. I have some extra pencil strokes in there that I want to clean up. So we want to go little by little. We want to start adding our colors little by little in here. So I want to start with my lightest, which is the cadmium yellow lemon. And I'm going to start on top of the letter F. So we're just going to apply a little here, just like that. So we're going to do one letter at a time. I'll add my color blue in here, just like this. Maybe add a little bit here. Then I'll have my pine green in here, just like that. And then we're going to blend. So I'm going to use my round brush. This is a number 2. So I'll start with the light and I'll just bring us down. We want to blend as much as we can. Now, if you feel like you don't have enough color, I always like to, where's my silicone? I don't have it, but if you have like a plastic in there, packaging, little plastic like this, packaging from anything, a Ziploc, if you don't have an art palette, you can always use something like this and just apply your marker in here. You can pick up some of those colors, kind of like this, just like that, and then start adding it on your paper like that. Now I'm going to go dip again and then start blending the blue, kind of like dabbing the paper, the water in there first, and let that get soaked in. And I will start moving it. This is where patience come in. Blend it with that. Just like that. It's so pretty. And then you have a beautiful gradient. Just like that. Put it here. And I'll do the same to my pine green, kind of like just dropping small drops of water and let that get soaked. And then you can start moving, almost pushing those pigments like that. Just like that. And this is so relaxing. Oftentimes when I'm doing this, I'm trying to blend. I get so lost in the moment. It's like, especially seeing all the colors, blending. It's and that patience that you really have because you want to create this beautiful piece. So it's just patience, patience, my friend. But this beautiful art of brush lettering, once you get the hang of it, I think the only hard part of this is the thick, the heavy going down and the light going up. It's always kind of like a struggle for me also, especially the upstroke. That's where I struggle the most, that light pressure. That's why it really helps if I do a sketch first and then I do a light base color like this. Then I don't have to worry about um, too much of that pressure once I have the base color in there already. Then I can just start blending just like that. I think I'll add a little bit more of that cadmium. We'll add some blue in here. Because these colors look so beautiful together, it's almost like I'm really not planning it ahead of time which one I'm going to do next, So this one I added the pine green, and this will connect with that cadmium yellow. It's going to look so pretty. That dark together with that lighter green. Just like that. And again, if you feel like, hey, I want a little bit more of that dark, just use your art palette or this Ziploc, whatever you have. It's going to work. Now, using the round brush, when you're blending, just be careful. Take your time. That's the only tip I can give you, is that just enjoy it. Enjoy that process, because um, if you're going to be impatient, I think once you lay down your colors, your base color, if you're happy with that, you stop there. But if you really want to create like an exceptional, it's a different brush lettering, take it to the next level and add your blending, then be patient and really enjoy this process, just like this. Hi, the paper I'm using is a watercolor paper. So if you don't have the watercolor paper, you can just use a mixed media paper. It works. This one is the watercolor paper from Artist Loft. I think I'm going to do the dark green here, and then I'll do the blue, the opposite almost of that first E. So this is where I'm going to add the blue right here, just like that. The gray is so light that it really isn't blending or isn't, um, it is blending with the colors, but it's super duper light that it doesn't um, affect the other colors. Does that make sense? So if you use a Pit Artist pen, the gray will not blend. Your gray will always be underneath. It's almost like an underpainting. But with because we use the same marker, which is a water-based dye, it's also blending with the other colors, but it doesn't really affect the other colors as much. So I really love using the cold gray. I think it's cold gray number 4. So I really love it. I always like to have like extra plastic like this on the side because sometimes you over blend a part, some parts of it. You feel like, okay, I need to add more in there. It's much better to add your colors this way than to use your marker directly on the paper. So it's much better to use a palette, an extra palette on the side, and kind of pick up and use it kind of like a watercolor. Pick up some of those colors, just like this. This is going to be much better. Never apply the markers directly because it might give you a different effect. I cannot guarantee, just depending on the paper that you're using, if it will leave some streaks, kind of almost like staining. And sometimes you really don't want those. Unless that's the type of look that you are after, then yeah, go ahead. But to me, I really want to have that very soft gradient in here. That's what I'm after. So I'll have my light green in here, like that. And I'll have the blue on top again, just like this. And I'll have the pine green, this. Trust me, once it takes a little bit, but once we're done, you're gonna be so proud of yourself. You're like, I am so glad I stayed patient because I really, really love this result. Yes, you're gonna thank yourself. Ah, and sometimes there's parts like this where I kind of like not pay attention, that it goes thick, and I'm okay with that. I embrace the mistakes because it's part of the progress. I just stopped um I really just stopped yearning for perfection when when I'm creating because I know something's gonna go wrong. One stroke is not gonna be perfect. Before I used to kind of like, I don't like this. I'm gonna start all over again. Now it's just it's part of that process. So I'm just gonna embrace it. Oh yeah, Mariana, that's a really good brand too. It's just hard sometimes because of the synthetic brush that they use. It's sometimes it's hard to control, but if once you get used to it, it's a really, really good brush as well, brush pen. I'm just gonna do one color for my dot, for my letter I, then clean it up. Just like that. I think I'll have the blue in here. Oh, okay, the pan one. Okay. I have the big one, and then I also have the pastel set. Those are so pretty. So yeah, if you're going to use like watercolor, for example, you want to use watercolor for this one, as long as you have that base that we created, the base lettering, then you can just use watercolors as well to start adding in your colors, instead of using your brush pens. As long as you create your base color with a light gray, or if you want to use the Pit Artist pen, to have a waterproof one like that. That's going to work as well. I'll have the light green in there. It just depends on how much, really how much colors you want. So sometimes I add very little like that. Sometimes I would cover a larger area, just like this. So it just depends. It's up to you. This one I want to go really light here. And this where part here, I'm going to add the blue. Just like that. So kind of like always trust your intuition, your guts when you're creating. You know, I think one of my problems before was that I would always kind of like overthink things. Where do I put the green or where do I? It's just, it's almost like stopping me from just the progress because I'm so kind of trying to just do everything perfect and then it doesn't work that way. So now I just really try my hardest to enjoy that process. Here, dropping some water to really soak in that green so I can move the pigments to really blend in with the blue, just like that. Drop it again and then move the pigment here. Blend with that light yellow. I'd love to know in the comments what are some troubles that you find when it comes to brush lettering? What are your frustrations? Because we all have, you know, different frustrations. Like with me, the upstroke, always a struggle because I have such heavy hand pressure. So the thick strokes, the downstrokes, or the heavy pressure feels so natural for me. But when it comes to the upstroke, whew, it's hard. Oh, that's great. Mariana said she doesn't have any issues with brush lettering. That's wonderful. Good job. Because to me, that upstroke is a could be a mess. Just like that. Christy said that light strokes or yeah. I think what can happen with what feels natural for me is going light to heavy. But then if I go heavy to light, ooh, yeah, that's a struggle. So I think what maybe can help start with pausing, you know, that transition instead of trying to do that one stroke, kind of like pause a little bit. And then okay, so for example, you practice your oval, right? So we're going to do heavy first. So the oval like like a circle. So like this is heavy, then pause in the middle and it kind of like transition, change your brush, the way you hold your brush. So you can almost like tilt it to use that tip of the brush and then go again and then go light. You know, so I feel like sometimes that's one of the cheat that I'm doing instead of finishing the stroke. I kind of pause in the middle of it and it really does help. I don't know if I stopped paying attention to what's like you're supposed to do it this way. But if it's not working, I mean, you know, that is the definition of insanity. If you're doing the same thing over and over and we're expecting a different result, that's insanity. So we want to adjust things. So maybe try that. Kind of like instead of finishing the whole letter O, kind of like half and then pause and then kind of like, okay, and go up again to finish that. So, I mean, to me personally, that's That always works for me. All right, so here, just like that. It almost gives me a our earth, the earth colors. It's so beautiful. I wasn't meaning to do that. I was more thinking of St. Patrick's, but the colors are just giving me earth vibes. It's so pretty. And it's like I always say this, um, with your work, with your projects, it's really important to kind of like date them. It doesn't matter if, it was as good as you were hoping, but to really see that there's a date in there, then you can compare your work to yourself, not to other people, but to your own progress. Really, really will you surprise you, and you're kind of like almost like you want to give yourself a pat in the back because it's like, hey, look at that, I made my letter A much better than how I did it 2 months ago. Because we often kind of like just look online, because of all the contents that's we're consuming every day, and it's really easy to compare yourself to other um, artists' progress. It's really easy to do that, and I am guilty of that because it's kind of like, oh, how come I can't do that? But art is so subjective. We're all so different. So it's kind of like I wanted to just remind you of that. Lack of patience. One say, my struggle is lack of patience. I understand. I think we can all relate to that. Yes. But patience is the key, my friend. We have to be patient to really progress. Tina said, my challenge is how to create the letters. I like how you created the X. I understand. I understand that struggle. I really think I do. Now, what's going to help is, there's a lot of like workbooks that has different letters. Like I created the bounce lettering workbook for Faber-Castell, and I have the alphabet in there that you can copy. And I always say this, hey, you have to sometimes just copy first before you can create your own. The more you do it, the more you're going to figure things out. You're going to figure your own style, because every single creative, every single artist that I know struggles with same issue. Is like, I don't know what my style is. I don't know what the, you know, how to do this letter. But I feel like what happens also when we try to copy so much, we almost kind of like lose our identity. And that's another struggle that I want to share with you guys, is that because I tried to look at so much example, so much, I just forgot how much how I really want to letter my letter F or my letter G, or whichever letter that is. Um, so my suggestion would be, look at samples, right? Look at the samples first, and then really practice how you would normally letter your letter A. For example, there's like fancy ways of um like the old script, the old calligraphy with all those flourishes and all those beautiful like that. Now, I it's not my style, so I've never really want to add like so much swashes, just because I feel like sometimes it's almost distracting. It's almost like I wonder if people can still read what I am writing because of the so much swash and loops and all that. Um, so I try to kind of like how I would normally write my letters. That's how I started with. I just writed my letters, my alphabet, how I would draw my letter L as a script, So, and then I would practice and practice, and then I look at samples also, how other people are doing it. And I'm like, hey, that's something that I can also incorporate in the way I would write my letter L. Um, and then what helps a lot is that I really just practice with, I started with my name, and then I picked a word For example, the word love. You know how many times I've written the word love and practiced with the word love and the word blessed? And then that helps me to kind of like play around with the swashes. Did you see how we kind of like changed the letter K, right? It was a simple loop like this going up. And then you look at him like, you know what? I can do this like that. So with the sketch, with the help of sketching, it will give you an idea of how you can adjust some of your letters. And it's just patience. One, we're going to go back to patience because it really is. We start from just kind of like meh, and then we look at our project and we're like, you know what? I'm happy with this. I'm good with that. But yeah, practice with your letters first. How the way you would write your letter, you just do it like that. Write it the way you would write it, and then when you're comfortable enough to kind of like switch things around and play around with your letters, then do that. But find the most comfortable way that you would want to draw it or letter it. So that's my advice to that one. Isn't it turning out so pretty now, Jackie? Because we have patience. But it does take a while. Can you imagine? We started with our sketch. And I think that's what's really important to see is that the process, because it's easy to just kind of like trace and, um, do this class by using the handout. But I feel like sometimes I wonder if they learned anything, they end up with a really pretty looking project, but it's just because I copied it. So I think it's important to really start with that first sketch and then add your base color. And then now we're doing blending. Then you can really see your progress and then you can really appreciate every step of the way. But it does take a while, that's for sure. But it's so pretty. The reward in the end is just so beautiful. And then when you finish, you're like, yeah, I did that. I did it. I finished it. But it does take a lot. I really love the depth of the green also. And I love the placement of the colors that we used in here. We're almost done. By having space in between. That's a good question, Emmanuel. Just having a space in between. See, notice how when I apply my light, let's start with the light here in the letter K. Let's start with that. It's almost the space in between will give them a breathing area to meet. And then I'm going to do the blue in here so we can just show a sample, right? Oh, that's too close. I think it's too close. So I'm going to do the blue first. I'm going to drop some water in here. And then instead of bringing this up, the blue, I'm going to bring this down. I'm going to let this one fade like that. But this one I'm going to bring down. So I have all the pigments in here. Now I'm going to clean my brush. And then drop the water, a yellow. And then we're just going to add a bit more so that when these two colors meet, it will have a very soft like that. See? Just have, and then I'm just slowly bringing it up for the two colors to meet. So make sure that space in between is really, really important. It's like they're breathing. You let the two colors breathe and then meet just like this. So I'm going to add the dark green in there, put water in there, tap the excess water if you feel like there's too much. And then here, where the two colors would meet, the blue and the green, I have really a lot of water in there so that it will create this beautiful gradient. So we don't have any sharp lines and that, right? So I hope that this class was very inspiring. I know that, it can be a little frustrating when it comes to lettering, but trust me, It's so much fun. I love drawing my letters. I really love creating beautiful blends like this. Um, and just practice, guys. Really, when I started with zero knowledge. I had no idea what I was doing. I honestly thought that it was the brush pens that were doing those beautiful letterings. I bought the brush pens thinking that, oh my God, I'm gonna do that. I'm gonna write beautiful letters because I bought the brush pens. But yep, it did not work that way. I had to learn. So thank you so much, guys. My Mariana, that's a good question. No, my kids are not into the brush lettering. My oldest daughter is 21 and she finds it so frustrating. My youngest daughter is 13 and sometimes she practices with me, but she's like, I don't know how you're doing that. It is so hard, but they enjoy art, but not the brush lettering. I don't know why. Maybe when they get a bit older, they will enjoy it too. So, guys, thanks so much for joining today. I really had a wonderful time. Um, it's a it's a whole lot of fun when you guys are here um, joining us live. So to everyone that's watching this on YouTube, we hope that you'll be able to join us live in the future. Don't forget to visit michaels.com, classes and events, and that's where you're going to find future classes. And also, this class will be uploaded on Michael's YouTube after 24-48 hours. So thank you guys so much for tuning in. Thank you for joining. I hope that this was inspiring. If you have any questions that I was not able to answer today, make sure to follow us online at Faber-Castell USA. My personal is at Mommy Lay. If you have any questions, send me a DM, send me a message. I'm happy to stay connected. Thank you all so much for joining in. Be blessed, stay creative, and stay happy. I'll see you in the next class. Bye, everybody.